You weren't supposed to find this video. And yet, here you are. Which means, this is not a coincidence. This is a divine confrontation. Because there's something you've been delaying. Something that has your name on it. Something sacred, urgent, and weighty. But you've been pushing it into tomorrow like tomorrow is guaranteed. And I have to tell you the truth now. That delay, that hesitation, it's not harmless. It's spiritual warfare. It's the weapon your enemy doesn't even have to wield anymore, because you're holding it yourself. Before we go deeper, I want to release a special blessing into your life within the next 60 seconds. Quickly hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet, and smash the like button to help this message reach more chosen ones like you. Once you've done that, you've officially sent your request to the universe. Stay focused for the next 60 seconds. Then type "Thank you, universe" in the comments to affirm your blessing. If you have any other prayer requests, feel free to leave them below as well. May God bless you even more abundantly. Your procrastination has become the most powerful thing working against your destiny. Not witches. Not curses. Not demons. Just your delay. And God sent me here with a word that will wake you up, because heaven is watching and waiting. The world is shifting. The time is now. Because chosen one, when you delay, someone else suffers. When you procrastinate, a chain reaction of miracles never happens. And that quiet whisper in your spirit, that pull you've been ignoring, it's not random. It's not your imagination. It's a divine summons. But if you wait too long, doors close, seasons change, and oil runs dry. Let me ask you this. Why are you still hesitating? Is it fear? Is it comfort? Or are you still waiting for a sign, not realizing you are the sign? I'm going to reveal something that very few will ever understand, but you must hear it. Because this is not just about delay. This is about identity. This is about you. You are not like them. You've always felt it. You're wired differently. When you try to play small, it makes you sick. When you hide, your soul aches. When you settle, everything in you begins to rot. That's because God did not design you for normal. He didn't call you to fit in. He marked you for a mission. But the longer you wait, the more your spiritual energy leaks. Let me reveal this to you. Procrastination is not laziness. It is spiritual resistance. It is the flesh trying to suffocate your spirit. It's the subtle sabotage that delays divine momentum. And if the enemy can't destroy you, he will delay you. Because delay is a slow death for the chosen. He knows you're dangerous when you're moving. So he keeps you overthinking. Keeps you praying but never acting. Keeps you journaling dreams you never touch. And he doesn't even need to send a storm. All he needs to do is keep you on pause. And the most dangerous thing about being chosen is not your enemies. It's your ability to hesitate on heaven's instruction. Let's talk about that. You've had visions. You've had confirmations. You've had doors open. But instead of walking through, you stood there asking for another sign. You cried, "God, show me if it's really you." But what if I told you? The reason it's been silent lately is because he already spoke. He already confirmed. Now he's watching to see if you'll trust what he already said. Because faith is not waiting to feel ready. Faith is movement in mystery. And yes, it will feel risky. Yes, you will feel unqualified. But God doesn't call the qualified. He qualifies the called. That's you. You're the one. You're the one your bloodline's been waiting for. You're the interruption in the cycle. But every day you delay, that generational assignment leaks power. And now it's time. This is your now moment. No more delay. No more distractions dressed as preparation. No more fake humility masking fear. Because chosen one, hear me. You are in danger of missing your window. You are in danger of becoming the person who talks about destiny, but never walks in it. And there is a difference. Revelation without activation is deception. You don't need another word. You need to obey the last one. Because your next level doesn't require more time. It requires more trust. And your delay is not just costing you, it's costing everyone connected to your obedience. Every soul you were supposed to reach. Every breakthrough you were supposed to birth. Every system you were supposed to disrupt. Every curse you were meant to break. They are waiting for you to stop thinking and start moving. Because the moment you move, heaven moves with you. Let me reveal another truth. The world is not waiting for perfect people. It's waiting for obedient ones. Because God doesn't need you to be ready. He just needs you to be willing. But procrastination is rebellion in disguise. It says, I know better than God. I'll move when I feel like it. But you can't afford that anymore. You've been marked too long. You've been equipped too much. You've seen too much to keep pretending you're not chosen. You know this. You've always known. And now you feel the urgency in your bones. Because every time you try to sleep, it whispers. Every time you try to blend in, it burns. Every time you try to settle, it haunts you. That's purpose. It's not going to leave you alone until you surrender. Because you weren't created to exist. You were created to activate. And yes, the enemy knows it. That's why your delay is his favorite trap. He doesn't need to make you fall. He just needs to keep you still. Still scrolling. Still doubting. Still preparing. Still planning. Still praying. But never starting. And if he can keep you there, he wins. Because a chosen one who doesn't move is no threat to hell. But I need you to hear this in your spirit. You were never meant to be tame. You were born to break things open. To provoke systems. To stir atmospheres. To awaken generations. And your delay is delaying their deliverance. Every time you pause, a piece of heaven pauses with you. Because chosen one, your obedience unlocks realms. But procrastination puts them in chains. Now let me ask you this. What if the thing you keep putting off is the thing that would change everything? What if the next step is not optional, but urgent? What if your breakthrough is on the other side of one brave yes? You see, God moves at the speed of your surrender, not your comfort. And right now, heaven is waiting on your yes. Because chosen one, this isn't just about you anymore. This is about legacy. This is about eternity. This is about every soul your story will reach, if you just move. And I get it. You're scared. But let me speak into that fear. You're not scared of failure. You're scared of who you'll become if it actually works. Because you know once you step into this calling, you can't hide anymore. But listen to me. That version of you, the powerful, anointed, bold, unstoppable version, that's the real you. And it's time to meet them. It's time to become them. But that can't happen if you stay stuck in later. Because later is the lie that steals destinies. Later is the language of the lukewarm. And you were never called to be lukewarm. You're chosen. Which means your life doesn't run on comfort. It runs on assignment. And your next assignment is waiting. Right now. You've always felt it, haven't you? That inner agitation when you're doing something beneath you. That restlessness in your soul when you're not walking in alignment. That's not dissatisfaction. That's divine disruption. It's the call of God disturbing your comfort zone. Because He refuses to let you settle for less than who He created you to be. And right now, I need you to understand something most people never will. Procrastination is not just a delay in time, it's a disruption in the spirit. Every time you say, I'll do it tomorrow, something sacred inside you withers. Because the future you dream about is suffocating under the weight of what you're postponing today. You think you're being cautious. But spiritually, you're being disobedient. You're treating purpose like a hobby. You're treating your call like a convenience. And God is saying, I gave you the idea. I opened the door. I sent the people. What are you waiting for? Listen closely. Delays have consequences. Just like obedience has rewards. You cannot keep postponing the thing that heaven is trying to birth through you. Because delay turns dreams into regrets. And God didn't plant those visions in you to tease you. He planted them because they are assignments. Assignments with souls attached. And when you delay, those souls wait longer for the solution you're carrying. Yes, you're the solution someone is praying for. Do you see that now? This isn't about you anymore. You've been carrying a blueprint, a frequency, a divine download, and you're treating it like an option. No, it's a mandate. And the reason your spirit is so agitated lately is because you're out of sync with the timing of heaven. Let me reveal something deeper. Do you know why the attacks in your life intensified when you started thinking about taking action? It's not a coincidence. Hell heard your whisper before you even spoke it out loud. You were about to move. You were about to rise. You were about to step into something irreversible. And the enemy saw the timeline shift. So he sent fear. He sent confusion. He sent comparison. He sent exhaustion. Not to destroy you. To delay you. Because delay is cheaper than destruction, but just as deadly. He doesn't need to take you out. He just needs to make sure you never take off. And here's the scariest part. The longer you delay, the easier it becomes to convince yourself that movement can wait. But it can't. Because there are certain doors that only open in certain seasons. There are certain miracles that are time sensitive. There are moves you are supposed to make now, not next year. And I have to be honest with you. Some of the delay you've been blaming on God was never Him. It was you. You heard the word. You felt the tug. You saw the sign. But you paused. You analyzed. You waited to feel qualified. But the call of God does not require your qualifications. It requires your cooperation. He chose you. That's already settled. Now He's waiting on your yes. But if you keep hesitating, you will forfeit momentum. And momentum is what the enemy fears the most. Because once a chosen one gains spiritual momentum, mountains move, chains break, territories shift, and strongholds collapse. That's why procrastination is so violent. It steals your momentum before you ever taste movement. So let me speak to your soul now. You are not stuck. You are not waiting on a sign. You are not missing anything. You are simply delaying the inevitable greatness inside you. And the more you delay, the heavier it feels. That's not your burden. That's blocked obedience. And God never called you to carry the weight of what you won't release. You weren't created to keep ideas inside you. You were created to release glory through you. But procrastination is spiritual constipation. It clogs your flow. You've been feeling pressure, not because you're failing, but because you're full. You're full of unspoken words, unwritten books, unlaunched visions, unfinished projects, unanswered prayers. And heaven is waiting for you to let it out. Because when you release what God put in you, everything changes. The atmosphere shifts. Provision shows up. The right people appear. Because obedience unlocks divine orchestration. But procrastination silences the symphony. And some of you are sitting in silence wondering why you feel lost. It's not because God left. It's because you stopped playing your part. You stopped the flow. But that ends now. Because chosen one, God is reigniting your fire through this word. You've waited long enough. You've planned long enough. You've rehearsed the vision in your head long enough. Now it's time to move. Even if it's messy. Even if it's imperfect. Even if you're scared. Especially if you're scared. Because fear is the final gate before every breakthrough. And you're standing at that gate right now. You're one act of obedience away from the version of you you've only seen in dreams. Let me ask you this. How much longer are you going to allow fear to do what hell couldn't? How much longer will you negotiate with the thing that's draining your destiny? You think you're protecting yourself. But really, you're starving your spirit. Because every day you delay, you're feeding fear and starving faith. And the time has come to switch the diet. Feed your faith. Starve your fear. Move even if you don't feel ready. Because readiness is a lie. Nobody ever feels ready for divine destiny. They just decide. So I'm asking you now, what are you deciding? What if today was the day you flipped the switch? What if today was the day you drew the line? What if today was the day you stopped waiting and became what God always saw in you? You are not behind. You are not too late. But you are responsible for what you know, for what you've seen, for what God has deposited in you. And if He put it in you, then He plans to use it through you. But only if you cooperate. So here's the challenge. No more delay. From this moment on, I want you to declare this out loud. I will not die with this in me. Say it again. I will not die with this in me. This vision, this book, this message, this movement, this ministry, this mission, this calling, it will live, it will rise, it will break through. Because I'm moving now. Even if I'm trembling, I'm moving. Even if I'm unsure, I'm moving. Even if I feel small, I'm still moving. Because I refuse to be the reason I missed my moment. I refuse to be the reason I delayed my destiny. I refuse to be the weapon formed against myself. I am chosen. I am ready. I am moving. Now. Good. Because something sacred is happening right now. There's a shift taking place in the unseen. You may not feel it fully yet, but your decision to continue, that was the sound of chains cracking. That was the moment your spirit started to outrun your delay. Let me show you something only the spiritually awake can see. Procrastination isn't just laziness. It's not even fear, fully. It's spiritual warfare wearing pajamas. It disguises itself as I'll do it later, but underneath it's a spirit of sedation. It numbs your urgency. It lulls your assignment to sleep. And if the enemy can't make you disobey, he'll make you delay obedience long enough to miss the appointed time. Because every chosen one has windows, divine, prophetic windows. These are portals in time when heaven aligns perfectly with earth. Resources are ready. Angels are assigned. Destiny is on standby. But it requires your action. Not your perfection. Your action. Because heaven responds to motion. But when procrastination grips you, you miss your window while staring at the door. You overthink what God only asked you to obey. You rehearse the same thought loop over and over again, praying for a confirmation when you already heard the instruction. And hear this clearly, delay doesn't cancel the calling, but it can reroute it. And reroutes cost time. Sometimes years. That's why you're feeling the urgency now. Because your soul remembers the timing even when your mind forgets. You feel late. Not because God forgot you, but because your inner clock knows you were meant to be further by now. But here's the grace of God. He's not here to shame you. He's here to wake you. Because the most dangerous thing a chosen one can do is sleep through their own awakening. You are not here to warm the bench of life. You are here to take territory, to shift bloodlines, to break curses, to rewire generations, to release heaven on earth. And that's why the warfare around your action is so intense. Because your movement doesn't just bless you, it liberates others. Listen closely. The enemy doesn't care if you pray, as long as you don't move. He doesn't mind your tears, as long as you don't act. He's fine with your vision board, your journaling, your planning, as long as you never execute. Because action is faith made flesh. And faith made flesh shakes kingdoms. That's why your greatest warfare always surrounds your greatest works. So if you've been feeling heavy, exhausted, overwhelmed the moment you try to act, good. That means you're on the right track. You're disturbing something. You're rattling cages in hell with every step you almost take. But almost won't finish the race. You must step in. Because chosen one, your future isn't waiting on a sign, it's waiting on a step. And I feel this for you right now. Your future self is calling back to you. Not with shame, but with urgency. Because your future self is free, healed, moving, glowing, walking in rooms you used to only dream about, commanding the space, releasing fire through your voice, leading people you haven't even met yet, impacting lives you'll never see in person. Why? Because you moved. And the moment you move, your atmosphere bows in response. The depression that sat on your chest for years, it lifts. The self-doubt that whispered lies in your ears, it loses grip. The mental fog that made you forget your fire, it clears. Not because it disappeared, but because you did what the enemy hoped you never would. You obeyed now. Let me speak to the root of it. This isn't about starting a business. This isn't about writing a book. This isn't about posting content. This is about alignment. Alignment with divine purpose. Because alignment opens flow. And when you're in flow, provision isn't a prayer, it's a pattern. When you're in flow, the right people don't have to be chased, they're drawn. When you're in flow, you don't wrestle, you release. But procrastination clogs the flow. It traps you in false cycles. You start, you stop, you ignite, then overthink. You feel momentum, then question your worth. That's not your personality. That's a spiritual pattern sent to trap your timing. But no more. Right now, in this very moment, God is breaking that pattern. You're not stuck. You're shifting. And the evidence of that shift is this. Your spirit is no longer comfortable with delay. The part of you that used to tolerate wasted time, it's dying. And something powerful is being resurrected. Your sense of urgency. Your divine discomfort. Your fire for action. God is restoring the urgency of obedience in you. Because obedience is worship. Obedience is movement. Obedience is protection. There are some battles you've been fighting simply because you didn't move when God said move. You've been in rooms you were supposed to leave months ago. Attached to people who were seasonal, not covenant. Still arguing with the version of yourself that was never designed to cross into this next season. You were called to walk on water, but you keep arguing with the boat. And the boat feels safe. It's familiar, but it's not faithful. And faith always feels like risk. But hear me, obedience is never a risk. It's an investment. Every time you obey God, heaven records it. Every time you move when it's scary, your spiritual net worth increases. Every step you take, even trembling, adds weight to your authority. Because God is not measuring your perfection. He's measuring your movement. And right now, movement is the difference between stagnation and elevation. So let me ask you, what would change if you moved today? What would open if you stopped analyzing and started obeying? What healing would flow if you stopped holding back and finally spoke? Who would be delivered if you finally released what God put in you? This is not just about you anymore. This is legacy on the line. This is spiritual destiny. And delay has cost you enough. Now it's time to collect. You've been weeping long enough. Now it's time to build. You've been wrestling long enough. Now it's time to rise. The ground is ready. The angels are positioned. The blueprint is alive. And heaven is watching to see. Will you move now? Because when you move, you unlock your next. And chosen one, your next is massive. It's drenched in glory. It's marked by miracles. But it's waiting on your movement. So ask yourself this, am I willing to lose what I was never meant to carry, so I can become who I was always meant to be? Because until you do, you'll live with the ache of unfulfilled purpose. But when you finally surrender and act, even trembling, heaven reigns. Because the heavens haven't finished speaking. And neither has your spirit. Now listen closely. When God calls a chosen one to act, He's not just activating you, He's activating the timeline. The one He wrote for you before you were even born. There are assignments in the earth realm that are waiting on you. Not someone like you. You. Your voice. Your walk. Your signature. Your oil. Do you realize how many souls are tied to your yes? How many chains are waiting for your obedience to break? You think procrastination is harmless. But it delays deliverance, not just yours, but theirs. This is why the pressure on your shoulders has felt heavier than everyone else's. This is why you can't rest in mediocrity like others can. This is why normal never fits. Because God put weight on your calling. And procrastination has been trying to mute that weight. It's been trying to sedate your power. But your spirit can't be silenced anymore. Because deep down, you know, this season is not about convenience, it's about convergence. Everything is aligning right now. The signs, the dreams, the nudges, the repeated patterns, all of it is converging into a moment. A moment that demands your action. Because chosen one, you were born for such a time as this. You didn't survive all that pain for nothing. You didn't cry in the dark for years just to stay hidden. You didn't break generational cycles just to sit on your hands and hope for better days. You are the better day. You are the answer to a prayer someone else is praying right now. But how can they receive if you delay? It's time to stop treating your calling like a casual thing. It's not casual. It's critical. And that resistance you feel? That heaviness? That exhaustion every time you try to do what you're called to do? That's not coincidence. That's the enemy throwing everything he can to stop the birthing. Because make no mistake, what you carry is being birthed. And labor pains always come before breakthrough. So if you feel stretched, if you feel like everything is pressing in at once, if you feel like something is about to break, good. It means you're closer than you think. But you have to push. You can't abort this process. Because you are not just carrying potential. You are carrying prophecy. And prophecy doesn't fulfill itself. It needs a partner. That partner is you. You are the one who must move when it doesn't make sense. You are the one who must speak even if your voice shakes. You are the one who must obey while your hands still tremble. Because obedience comes before confidence. Action comes before anointing flows. You will not feel fully ready, and you don't need to. Because God never required perfection. He required surrender. And surrender doesn't always look loud. Sometimes, surrender looks like writing that first sentence. Making that first phone call. Booking that one-way ticket. Sending that application. Starting with what you have, not waiting for what you don't. Because when you act on the little, God releases the much. You're not waiting on confirmation. You're waiting on courage. And courage isn't the absence of fear. Courage is the decision to move anyway. God isn't asking you to feel brave, He's asking you to trust Him. Because when He told you to start, He already secured the outcome. It's not a gamble. It's a guarantee. But the clock is ticking. And your delay is creating a spiritual vacuum, an absence where power should be flowing. You've been circling the same mountain for too long. Talking about it. Praying about it. Dreaming about it. But God is saying, walk it out. Don't pray for a miracle and then refuse to move your feet. The Red Sea didn't part until Moses lifted his staff. The waters didn't stop until the priests stepped in. Walls didn't fall until they marched. Miracles meet movement. So why haven't you moved? Has your mind talked you out of what God already confirmed? Have you let your logic override your anointing? Let me say this with love. You will never figure out a divine assignment using carnal reasoning. You cannot calculate what was meant to be revealed. That's why it feels beyond your comprehension, because it's beyond your flesh. But your spirit understands. Your spirit is ready. That's why you're restless. That's why peace won't come until you act. Because delay is disobedience dressed in comfort. You're not procrastinating because you're lazy. You're procrastinating because the weight of your calling terrifies you. But let this be your wake-up call. You're scared because it's real. Because it matters. Because it changes everything. And that's exactly why you can't stay stuck. You must choose. Right now. Choose movement over misery. Choose obedience over overthinking. Choose the call over comfort. Because this world isn't going to wait for you to feel ready. And heaven isn't going to keep postponing your release. It's your time. This is the part of the story where everything changes. This is where the background character becomes the lead, where the hidden one becomes the herald, where the overlooked one becomes the overcomer, where the silent becomes a sound the earth can no longer ignore. Chosen one, I declare this over you. Your days of delay are over. Your spirit is rising above the fog. Your voice is breaking out of the cage. Your feet are moving again, with fire, with faith, with favor. No more looking back. No more second guessing. No more waiting for perfect timing. This is your moment. And your future, your true future, is finally unlocking.